This is the future.
What's up guys, I'm James, this is the Great Gambino channel, and I've been covering virtual reality here for over the last 10 years. During that time, we have had a chance to test and review many different headsets throughout the evolution of virtual reality, such as Oculus Development Kit 1 back in 2013, Oculus Development Kit 2 in 2014, multiple versions of the Oculus Samsung Gear VR, the first consumer version PC Oculus Rift in 2016, the original Oculus Quest plus the follow-up Meta Quest 2, and we have even had a chance to cover the Meta Quest Pro and the Sony PlayStation VR 2 for the PS5 earlier this year. Today is a very exciting day because we are now taking another evolutionary leap with mainstream consumer VR and mixed reality with the Meta Quest 3. In this video, I'm going to be doing a full unboxing that will cover everything included with the Meta Quest 3. We will look over the aesthetics, tech specs, and comparisons to previous headsets. We will show how to get everything set up and running, and we will take a look at some of the software. At the end, I will give my overall thoughts on the headset and whether I think it is worth the price of purchase. If you would like to skip ahead to any of these sections, I will have timestamps down below. So, without further delay, let's get into it. This time around, the box is much more minimalistic in comparison to every other issue of the Quest. In the past, you would have a plastic cellophane peel, which I rather liked. But this time, we have two cardboard pull tabs that remind me of what you would see on a mailing envelope. Removing the outer marketing slip cover reveals the main brown box that opens with a simple clamshell design. Inside, we have the main components neatly presented with no extra fuss, just getting to the point of the product. I prefer this more minimalistic approach as it is nice to take up less space once you need to store the packaging. While first holding the headset in hand, it definitely feels smaller and more compact. Right away, I love the overall design compared to previous headsets. Flipping around to the other side, the lenses are covered with some cardboard that can easily be removed, exposing the lenses themselves that are protected with thin pieces of cellophane. Let's go ahead and remove those. The touch controllers feel good in the hand and the buttons are clicky and responsive. Right away we notice the outer tracking rings have been removed, but we will talk about that in just a minute. The last thing you will have to open is a small slide-out box toward the back that holds the AC charge plug, one USB-C cable, a warranty guide, and instruction manual for your headset. Let's take a closer look at the actual headset itself and the controls. Holding the new Touch Plus controllers, the shape and feel reminds me of the Touch Pro. It's comfortable and easy to press both the grip and trigger. Along the bottom, we have a nylon cord that can be wrapped around the wrist so you do not lose it while deep into gameplay. This time around, they've improved the battery release latch by having an actual button to trigger the mechanism. In the past, they used magnets that would slide off on their own, or with the Quest 2, it took a little pressure to release and slide off the cover. With the Touch Plus, you have to actually press the eject button to unhinge the latch and then slide it off, giving you the ability to replace the battery with ease. I like this design because it's not going to come off accidentally while playing. A fresh pair of 2 AA batteries should last between 16 and 20 hours of gameplay in this new controller, similar to Quest 2. We will come back to discuss the tech specs of these controllers during the comparison section. Along the bottom, you can see two of the cameras. I've heard they will be using these in a future update to offer full body tracking, similar to when you use your hands without controls. Across the front, we see 3 black pill-shaped areas. The 2 on the outside contain a total of 4 cameras, 2 of which are red, blue, green cameras that make color pass-through possible. The center area contains the depth sensor, which will help later for mapping out the geometry of your room for mixed reality. This is a feature that was surprisingly removed from the Quest Pro at the last minute, which was a major disappointment due to the price of the headset. With the Quest Pro, we had a solid frame head strap that could only be tightened as the headset and strap were one solid piece. At first I really loved the way it wore, but I have to say after having and playing with it for a while, I found it created great pressure on the front of the forehead, which was the only contact point on that side. It would get very uncomfortable after about 45 minutes because of all the pressure created on that small area. The Quest 3 has a fabric strap similar to the Quest 2. The most notable difference is the Y-shaped setup that you can easily separate to tighten the headset or pull them close together to loosen it on the fly. Another benefit to this design is that if you have longer hair in a ponytail, you can easily wear it through that opening like a baseball cap, improving the comfort. Due to the design of the Quest 2 strap and the frontal weight, I upgraded to the Elite strap. This time around, it doesn't feel that that upgrade is as necessary. If upgrading to a higher end strap is something you are interested in, it's pretty simple to grip the back end of the side panel and pop forward to release the soft strap to be able to attach the new one. On the left side of the strap, there's a detail that I really appreciate, as it is a throwback to the old Oculus logo from previous headsets. In combination, it is also the outlet for the USB-C cable used to charge or connect to the PC. On the opposite side, there's an auxiliary outlet available for plugging in headphones. Because I do a lot of YouTube gameplay recordings, headphones are something that I will use often to reduce my microphone picking up the gameplay. But if you are not creating content, then the headset itself has pretty good built-in audio speakers on the head strap. To control the volume, there's a rocker button on the bottom right side of the headset that can be used to increase or decrease the sound. On the bottom left side of the headset is a roller wheel that can be used to adjust the IPD of the lenses. I will say that Quest 3 has the biggest sweet spot of clarity out of any headset I've ever tried, and it will be real easy to get the proper adjustment for just about anyone. Also, these pancake lenses are much more clear than what you had with the Quest 2's Fresnel lenses, and you can notice in the shot the elimination of visible rings. If you wear glasses like myself, this headset is very accommodating, as it has buttons on each side of the interface for quick release extension, adding extra space between your eyes and the lenses with a range indicated by 4 different sizing dots. This is a really nice upgrade from the Quest 2, where you had to insert a plastic spacer in front of the interface to give you more room. In my experience, I have found this headset to be very comfortable while wearing glasses. However, if you do wear glasses and would like to play without them, there's an option on the Meta website to order prescription lenses from a company called Zenni. The interface itself is soft and squishy with a fabric liner, and I haven't noticed any sweat buildup while gaming. I also want to point out that if you do remove the interface, you can see just how thin the optical stack is due to the pancake lenses. It really has brought down the overall size of the headset. One of the first things the headset will do is prompt you to set up your room scale boundary, and it has been greatly advanced from previous headset versions like Quest 2. You can now simply look around the room, and the headset measures space and works around the objects. It will lay out the largest possible guardian. It's very simple and graphically impressive to look at as you spin around and watch it extend out and scale the room. If you would like to create the boundary system manually, you will still have the older boundary setup available. When firing up a mixed reality application, the boundary setup is even more exciting, as it now will create geometry for not only the floor, but also the walls, ceilings, and any other dimensional object that you look at with the headset. Sometimes you have to stare at an area a little longer, but eventually the software will catch up and map out that section of the room. Taking the extra time to do this is super important, because when you play these games, the characters and objects that come into your environment will have a much more realistic reaction to your surroundings. Another pretty cool thing about this headset is that when you are in your traditional Meta home screen, one thing you can do is double tap the headset with your finger to reveal the actual environment, putting you into a mixed reality version of Meta Home. This is how I prefer to use my Quest 3. Just like with previous headsets, you have the option to use the provided controllers or your actual hands to navigate menus and other various applications. One little trick you can do if you want to switch between them is by tapping the 2 touch controllers together, which will shuffle the control option to your tracked hands. You now have the ability to grab things with your hands or pinch your fingers together to create a mouse-like cursor that will let you browse through things. You can combo this with actually pushing and pressing buttons to select apps. Let's take a little break from setup options and check out some mixed reality software. The best mixed reality experience I have tried so far is the Cabin Home Invasion. This app seems to be much more polished, and it is most likely because it is newly released. All the virtual assets like digital doors and windows seem to lock on and react to your environment really well. The game itself is insane. I had zombies coming through my windows, jumping on my couch over my dog, and sometimes when I'd shoot them, their heads would go flying across the room, landing on various objects at the other side. It filled me with adrenaline and excitement looking around my environment while I hustled to reload my weapon. My head was constantly on a swivel while zombies were coming at me from all different directions. It plays well, and the longer you survive, the more weapon upgrades you get. The overall experience feels like a mixed reality version of the old school Call of Duty Zombies, and if you like that kind of thing, it's definitely worth checking out. Demio is a top-down dungeon crawler that now can be used with the Quest 3 to play in mixed reality. This is an amazing game in virtual reality, and now it's even cooler with mixed reality, having your friends' digital avatars join the room with you. You can decorate your walls and ceiling, and you can even manipulate the board to make it as large or small as you'd like. If you loved this one in virtual reality, you're definitely going to love playing it in mixed reality. Trackcraft is a fun little game that sets up driving obstacle courses that you will have to navigate from point A to point B while operating a toy-like car. It's pretty addictive, and I enjoyed being able to walk around the track viewing various objects and the car falling off onto my carpet while attempting to reach the finish line. It's a simple concept, but it's fun and definitely worth giving a try. The mixed reality mode of Aspire 2 captivated my attention as it places virtual windows and various objects all around your environment, similar to the cabin home invasion. In this secret agent style game, you can select various play modes that will have you running around your house, defending the environment as high-tech soldiers drop from shafts in the ceiling and fire projectiles at you through the different openings. You will have to be strategic, ducking and maneuvering around your house, planning your stealthy attack against the soldiers and even robots. First Contact starts out with an alien craft breaking through your roof, exposing a virtual world, and leaving pieces of your ceiling scattered all around the room. You are able to walk around it and see it perfectly tracked in your environment. The demo goes on to having you use a laser gun that when shot at these little alien bouncing ball creatures, they will stack up on top of the spaceship, giving you points. This basic experience is free to play, and it's a great place to start if you want to demo mixed reality to your friends. At the moment, there are not many games optimized for Quest 3, but I did take the time to check out one game that has been updated graphically, and that is Red Matter 2. During my demo playthrough, I did notice very impressive textures, lighting, and shadows, and in my opinion, it's getting very close to PC quality graphics with this standalone headset. Speaking of PC, if you want to connect to your gaming PC via AirLink, it's pretty simple to do. Simply click the quick settings on the left side of your taskbar, then you are going to select Quest Link. You want to click and turn on Use AirLink. It will now search for any PC connected to your Wi-Fi. Once you see the correct computer, select it and then click Pair. It's going to give you a confirmation code on your PC screen that you will have to accept. Back in the headset, you will click Continue, then Launch. Now it will load you into the Meta PC VR home screen. From here, you can select anything you have on your gaming PC through the Oculus app. Let's fire up Boneworks. As you can see here, it runs smoothly with all of the added graphical bells and whistles you get with a high-end gaming PC. This is a great option to open up a much larger library of games for you to choose from. Getting back to setup options, if you are someone who likes to record gameplay for YouTube or TikTok, it's pretty easy to do nowadays by selecting the camera tool at the bottom of the taskbar and then simply pressing record. If you go into your settings, there are many options for the camera now. You can choose to increase the frame rate at which it records, change the aspect ratio, decide whether it records the left or right eye, and you can even add video stabilization to reduce the shaky cam effect from recording VR footage. These options became available to various people a while back, but for some reason I never had them available on my Quest 2. Speaking of Quest 2, let's take a look at the comparisons between headsets. I have a chart made up of specs and features between the Quest 2, Quest 3, and Quest Pro. Let's run down the list and figure out which headset wins based on points. One of the most important things in any headset is the processor, as it will determine the graphics and complexity of gameplay. Quest 2 has the Snapdragon XR2, which was very impressive at the time the headset was released. But many VR enthusiasts are becoming anxious for more impressive experiences, and this chip from 2020 is only capable of so much. Quest 3 has the all-new Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 processor. As we've seen in the game footage, this new chip is able to produce graphics that are getting scary close to PC VR. Moving over to Quest Pro, it has been packed with a Snapdragon XR2 Plus. This is the same chip that is in the Quest 2, but it has been overclocked to be able to handle a bigger workload. This is due to the headset's ability to run at a cooler temperature. In this category, I have to give the win to Quest 3's XR2 Gen 2. It is Qualcomm's next big jump, and it's simply capable of so much more than the previous versions. For RAM, we have 6GB on Quest 2, 8GB on Quest 3, and 12GB on Quest Pro. The easy win here goes to the Quest Pro. When it comes to resolution, on the Quest 2 we have 1832 by 1920 in each eye with one LCD screen. Quest 3 has 2064 by 2208 in each eye with two separate LCDs. And the Quest Pro has 1800 by 1920 in each eye with two LCDs. This round is going to be another for the Quest 3. A high refresh rate is going to determine how smooth and natural everything feels. The Quest 2 has been updated to hit just about anything you want from 60Hz, 72Hz, 80Hz, 90Hz, all the way up to 120Hz. The Quest 3 can be run at 72Hz, 80Hz, 90Hz, and 120Hz, with the Quest Pro having limited options of 72Hz or 90Hz. Because most of the time you will be using 90Hz or 120, I'm going to call this one a tie between Quest 2 and Quest 3. We talked about the lenses earlier, and we covered the fact that Quest 2 has the older Fresnel lenses, whereas the Quest 3 and Quest Pro have been updated to have the newer and much better pancake lenses. So for this round, it's a tie between the Quest 3 and the Quest Pro. IPD adjustment is really important to make sure VR is viewably comfortable for many different people that have a range of interpupillary distance. With Quest 2, you have a click system that offers you 3 specific measurements: 58mm, 63mm, or 68mm. Quest 3 has that dial that is going to give you a very nice range of 53 to 73mm. Quest Pro offers a similar but slightly skewed range at 55mm to 75mm. This on paper would make them tied, and I will say that Quest 3 and Quest Pro both have excellent sweet spots of visual clarity. In my experience, I do feel the range of focus is even better on the Quest 3, so I'm going to give the point to the newest headset. You're going to want a good field of view on your headset because the wider it is, the more immersive your experience will be, and it'll cause it to feel less like you are staring at a screen. Quest 2 gives you 96 by 96. Quest 3 gives you 110 by 96, and again, Quest Pro is coming in a hair under Quest 3 with 106 by 96. That's another point for Quest 3. The importance of storage varies from person to person, but if you plan on buying many games and recording footage, you are probably going to need space. With Quest 2, you have the options of 128GB or 256GB. Quest 3, you have 128GB and 512GB. And with Quest Pro, there is one unit that offers 256GB. Quest 3 wins again with that 512GB option. Keeping the cost down on these headsets is extremely necessary as VR is still on its way to mainstream adoption. The 128GB Quest 2 is available for $300, or you have the 256GB option that is priced at $350. Sometimes they do run sales where you can pick up a Quest 2 as cheap as $250. Quest 3 has the price boost for the tech of $500 for the 128GB or $650 for the 512GB. The Quest Pro originally came out with a $1,500 price tag, but even after having its price cut, it still has a very high cost of $1,000 for 256GB. This round goes to the Quest 2, as it is still a really great headset for the low price. If you plan on having long game sessions, battery life is key. Quest 2 will usually give you around 2 to 3 hours of gameplay before you have to plug it in and charge up. Quest 3, so far in my tests, runs around 1 hour and 45 minutes to about 2 hours, depending on what type of application you're throwing at it. Quest Pro is stated to have a battery life of 1 to 2 hours. This round's point is going to go to Quest 2. When it comes to tracking, gone are the days of having to place external sensors all around your room, hoping they have your body in clear range as not to lose your spatial position in VR. In modern times, VR headsets use what is called inside-out tracking, a method where the headset cameras can read the room and figure out where it is spatially, eliminating the need to place sensors around the environment. Because all 3 headsets have inside-out tracking, we will award no point for this round, but I thought it was important to mention as it is part of the overall specs. Let's talk about what all of the cameras and sensors are capable of on each headset. With Quest 2, you will have 4 external cameras. They do a pretty good job tracking, and this older system is even capable of mixed reality, but it will be limited to a blurry, somewhat distorted black and white view. The Quest 3's 6 external cameras do an excellent job tracking, and when it comes to mixed reality, 2 of these cameras are RGB, capable of giving you full color mixed reality. The image can still be slightly distorted at times, but it is far superior to anything else I have ever tried. And it's good enough that for the first time you can read text from your phone or computer screen while still in the headset. The Quest Pro, you have 5 external cameras and 5 internal cameras. And like the previous headsets, it does an excellent job tracking the headset itself. But the Quest Pro has an added bonus with those 5 internal cameras that are going to give you full facial tracking. With this, you will be able to translate exactly where your eyes are looking, little things like blinking, and how your mouth is moving. This shows your human emotions translated through the animation of your avatar. So, with this category, it comes down to the advanced mixed reality color and depth of the Quest 3 versus the advanced facial tracking of the Quest Pro. Because the Pro has been out for a while, and I still have not yet seen much implication of the facial tracking technology, I'm going to predict that having better mixed reality cameras will be more of a bonus. And that is why I've decided to give this round to the Quest 3. Let's talk controllers. Quest 2's touch hand controllers track through many tiny sensors built into the rings on each one. The headset's cameras pick up these sensors to make sure the touch controllers are tracked to the proper location. They work really well, only losing tracking if you have them at extreme angles behind your head and out of range of the headset. Battery life lasts a very long time with just one AA in each controller. I usually go weeks, if not months, before having to change them out. Obviously, this can vary depending on how much game time you put in. With Quest 3, we have the new Touch Plus controllers. I feel they do a better job when using them at more extreme angles. In addition, these new Touch Plus controllers have eliminated the ring like we saw earlier, and now the sensors are built into the controller itself. It's nice being able to bring the controllers closer together without the rings getting in the way. Battery life performance using one AA battery per controller is similar to the Quest 2's. And these Touch Plus controllers have improved haptic feedback. This should create more immersion by using built-in motors inside of each controller that will react to physical things within VR and AR environments. The Quest Pro comes with the more advanced Touch Pro controllers. This version has built-in rechargeable batteries that last around 8 hours, but the Pro also comes with a full charging dock for the headset as well as the Pro controllers. So when the hardware is not in use, you will always be charging back up, giving you full juice for each session. In addition, the Pros do not use sensors tracked by the headset. Instead, they have 3 inside-out trackers and Snapdragon 662 processor chips built into each one of the controllers. With this boosted power and camera information feeding to the headset, you should never lose controller tracking no matter where they are. On top of that, the haptic feedback is very good. There's no debate, the win in this category goes to the Quest Pro's touch controllers. I just want to make note that if you would like to upgrade the Quest 2 or Quest 3 to the Pro controllers, they are compatible. The last category we have on the list is going to be headset weight. Depending on how light and how well distributed the weight is on any given headset will determine how long you are comfortable within that headset. Quest 2 is the lightest, coming in at 503 grams, but the headset is thicker, so it sticks out further, pushing some of that weight out, and in my experiences, it starts to become slightly uncomfortable after about an hour and a half. Quest 3 is a little bit heavier, coming in at 515 grams, but the reduced optical stack, the Y-shaped strap, and the way it rests on my face, to me, it feels lighter, and I can comfortably play until the battery runs low. Quest Pro weighs 722 grams, being the heaviest headset, and although it does have a very impressive head mount design setup, as I stated earlier, I found the concentrated pressure being directed to the back and only one small part of my forehead to be unbearable to wear after about 45 minutes due to steadily increasing discomfort. I'm giving this round to the Quest 3. It's time to tally up the points. The Quest 2 has a combined score of 3 points. The Quest 3 has a score of 9 points. And the Quest Pro has an added up score of 3 points. This makes the Quest 3 the winner by a 6-point lead. Of course, this is partly based on my own personal opinion, and other people's tastes will vary. With that said, I do not believe my score sheet is terribly shocking, as Quest 3 is the newest tech available. For my final thoughts, in the last 2 months that I've had with the Quest 3, I can say that I am really enjoying it, and it is definitely my favorite headset I've ever owned. I'm having fun testing out mixed reality apps, and I have even been able to stream the experience live on TikTok and Twitch. It's really great because this headset's pass-through is sharp enough that I am able to lean in and read my stream chat monitor without having to remove the headset. The big question is whether it's worth the $500 price tag. In my opinion, for the tech you are getting, yes, it is worth the price. Should you upgrade from Quest 2? If you already own a Quest 2 and are currently happy with its performance, I would say hold off and stick with Quest 2. It's still an amazing VR headset for $300, and at the moment, we do not yet have a large quantity of software available that utilizes mixed reality or takes advantage of the graphical capabilities. On the other hand, if you are someone that is just getting into VR and do not yet own a headset, as long as the price is affordable to you, I would say go with the Quest 3, as it is the more future-proof headset that will give you many years of use, enjoying advancements as software is developed. If you would like to learn more about the other headsets, I did create full reviews of the Quest 2, Quest Pro, and PlayStation VR 2 headsets. I will have links to those videos down below in the description. I want to say thank you for sticking with me all the way until the end of this video. It would definitely help me out if you tap the like button on your way out. These days, it's hard to get views on YouTube, and just by clicking like, you help me out tremendously. Thanks again for your time, and I will see you in the next one.